What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sat coming to you with today's stock pick, indicator help, and general investment tips. Remember, this channel is all about no face, just facts in 5. I do the research so you don't have to. Shout to 11 Labs for making every video possible with their next-gen voice cloning and text-to-speech tools. Link in the description and profile. Let's dive in. This week could end up being one of the most important weeks of the year for investors. On Wednesday, we get the latest Consumer Price Index report, better known as CPI. Then on Friday, we could witness the largest IPO in history as SpaceX is expected to begin trading under the ticker SPCX. Even more surprising, reports indicate that up to 30% of the IPO shares may be allocated to retail investors instead of the usual Wall Street institutions. That means ordinary investors could have a chance to participate in one of the most anticipated public offerings ever. Between inflation data and the SpaceX IPO, the market could be in for an interesting week. Let's start with CPI because this report affects almost everything. CPI measures inflation by tracking the prices consumers pay for goods and services. Think groceries, gas, rent, insurance, restaurants, and everyday purchases. If inflation comes in higher than expected, the Federal Reserve could keep interest rates elevated for longer. Higher rates generally put pressure on growth stocks, tech companies, and speculative investments. If inflation comes in lower than expected, investors may begin pricing in future rate cuts, which is often viewed as bullish for stocks. The CPI report for May is scheduled for Wednesday morning before the market opens, meaning traders will react almost immediately. Why does this matter? Because inflation is currently one of the biggest drivers of market sentiment. A hot CPI number could push bond yields higher and pressure the Nasdaq. A cold number could spark a relief rally across technology, AI, and growth stocks. Companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Tesla tend to react because their future earnings become more valuable when interest rates are expected to fall. So, Wednesday could set the tone for the entire market before we even reach Friday's IPO. Then comes SpaceX. For years, retail investors have watched as private investors benefited from one of the most successful companies in modern history. SpaceX transformed the space industry, dominates commercial launches, operates Starlink, and continues pushing towards Starship development. Until now, most everyday investors simply couldn't buy shares. That changes this week. Reports suggest SpaceX is targeting a valuation around $1.75 trillion while raising approximately $75 billion, making it potentially the largest IPO ever. Even more unusual, up to 30% of the offering could be reserved for retail investors. Normally, major IPOs allocate only a small percentage of shares to retail buyers. The bull case is easy. Elon Musk has one of the most loyal investor followings. Many investors view SpaceX as the next great growth story, combining aerospace, satellite internet, communications, defense contracts, AI infrastructure, and future space exploration. Demand appears strong, with reports suggesting interest already exceeds available shares. If retail enthusiasm combines with institutional demand, the stock could see significant volatility and potentially strong early momentum. But there is also a bear case. SpaceX is entering the market with an enormous valuation. Some analysts believe the company is worth far less than the proposed IPO valuation. Others point out that profitability remains a concern. The excitement surrounding Elon Musk can also create unrealistic expectations. History shows that some big IPOs experience explosive first-day trading followed by sharp pullbacks. Investors need to remember that even great companies can become poor investments if purchased at unreasonable prices. Here's what makes this week fascinating. These two events are connected. Imagine CPI comes in cooler than expected on Wednesday. Investors become more optimistic about future rate cuts, money flows into growth stocks, and risk appetite increases. Then, SpaceX launches its IPO 2 days later into a market that is already feeling bullish. That's a powerful combination. On the other hand, if inflation surprises to the upside, investor sentiment could weaken before SpaceX ever starts trading. In that scenario, even the biggest IPO in history could face a tougher market environment. My take? I think CPI is actually the bigger event for the overall market, but SpaceX will dominate headlines. CPI impacts every stock. SpaceX impacts investor psychology. If both events go well, this could be a very bullish week. If either one disappoints, expect volatility. Personally, I'll be watching inflation first and SpaceX second. One tells us where the market may go. The other could tell us where investor excitement is headed. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. If you found value in today's video, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts. This is Sat with Stocks by Sat06. No face, just facts in 5. Keep learning, keep investing, keep building. Peace.